For as busy, crowded, and congested that Los Angeles is, it's amazing to think that a short car ride over some mountains will put you in a place more isolated and desolate than anything you'd ever find on the East Coast. Like something out of a TV show, Palmdale is really one of those places you never actually thought existed. Its vast, wide-open vistas in the heart of the Mojave Desert makes you question whether a landscape like this could ever be tamed. And while development, shopping centers, and chain restaurants are springing up like wildflowers, much of the landscape remains untouched by the sprawling city nearby. One of the city's hidden gems is Saddleback Butte State Park, and although the city continues to grow and expand, this park seems to be just as isolated and untouched as it was when non-native settlers first came to the region. On a clear day, you can see the eastern portion of the San Gabriel Mountains, from Mount Baldy through Mount Islip and beyond.
That's the butte right there, and you can see the Saddleback. Now it's a great hike because you got all these Joshua trees around me. You got a nice uphill hike, and it's kind of a mixed blessing, but no one ever comes here. Last time I came, it was a Saturday. Today is a Thursday. Nobody's here. So I feel like I got the whole park to myself. If you're wondering why they're called Joshua trees, I believe it's because when the first settlers got here and they saw these trees, it looked like they were dancing, and I'm gonna have to go back to my Old Testament days, but I think it was Joshua who danced in front of the ark when they got it back after some battle, I don't know. But they do look like they're dancing, and so I guess the name kind of stuck and they called them Joshua trees. Or at least that's what Ken Burns' National Park documentary told me. So you can break this hike into 3 parts. The first part would be from the parking lot to Little Butte. We're gonna see Little Butte in a second. And then from Little Butte to the base of the actual Big Butte, Saddleback Butte. And then the last part is climbing up the hill and then doing some scrambling up to the top. But it's a beautiful hike, I just love it. It's actually pretty warm today, which is weird because last time I was here, we had to turn around because it was 30 degrees. Wind was kicking sand in our face, and our friend wasn't feeling too good, so yeah, it's nice to get back here. So while the desert may not be as thriving as one of the forests back in Ohio, that means there are fewer plants out here, which means I know a little bit more plants out here. And one of the most interesting ones here is this teddy bear cholla. Now it's found in Mojave, and it is so prickly. And part of the reason why it's so prickly is it has these micro spikes going the opposite direction of the way the spike is going.
For those who are unfortunate enough to walk through a patch of these, those reverse microspikes act like fish hooks and make it both incredibly difficult and painful to remove from your skin.
So one of the things I really like about this park is how no one is here. Now, that's kind of a mixed blessing because on one hand, it's so great to get away from the city lights and go out and just have some quiet time. But on the other hand, because no one comes here, it's harder for the state to justify keeping this as a state park. Every time I've come here, I've maybe seen one other person. And if you're trying to keep a park alive, you gotta have more people here. Now, I'm not saying that we should make it a tourist trap or amusement park, but it would be great to see more people here appreciating this and just helping preserve this land a little bit more. Because honestly, if you want to see Joshua trees without going all the way to Joshua Tree, this is the best place to do it. This is fantastic. Now, it might be tough to see on camera, but you have a lot of tracks here. And it's interesting because on one hand there's a bush there and there's another bush over here. And so this is just a great highway for pack rats to get over to that sagebrush over there. And I actually saw a little mammal poking its head out earlier. That's just neat.
Although the weather called for overcast, it was clear that the sun was not going to be as forgiving as I'd hoped it would be today. In no time, I made it to the top of Little Butte, where I could start to feel the wind really pick up. From there, I could clearly see Saddleback Butte ahead with its winding trail cutting through Joshua trees and sagebrush.
This is the first third of the hike. That's Little Butte right there. And it's deceivingly higher than I thought it would be because there's a slight grade as you go up towards Saddleback Butte, and it just kind of sneaks up on you. So I think to the top it's about 1.1 miles according to that sign right there. Time to get going.
As I neared the butte, a fence line guided me to a gnarly Joshua tree waiting by the trail. Despite not actually being trees, one could easily be forgiven for thinking so. As I climbed up the butte, the Joshua trees dissipated and were replaced by even more sagebrush. The trail became sandy and made it a bit tougher to hike. The incline also steepened as nearby boulders began to litter the trail all around me. And in no time at all, I was hiking so high I could see crows fly below me. And much like me, these crows had their work cut out for them because the wind was really picking up at this point. And the rough, coarse sand seemed to get everywhere, and I even had to cover my face from the occasional sandblast.
It's a little windy up here, but I tell you, the view is beautiful. The desert, and then starting to poke its head out above this ridge here, but I'm starting to see some mountains. This is beautiful. That's incredible.
From the saddle itself, I could clearly see the eastern side of the San Gabriels, where Mount Baldy and Mount Baden-Powell lie covered in snow. It truly was a sight to behold.
So if you've ever wondered what a saddleback is, especially when it comes to topography and understanding maps, a saddle is basically this gap between two mountains, but it doesn't go completely all the way down. So in this case, you have one mountain here, or in this case a butte, and then you have a butte here, and where they curve down, that's the saddle. Can't wait to get to the top. I am so hungry. This hike is kicking my butt for whatever reason. I haven't gone hiking in a while, so I am ready for some lunch. Shoo! Avocado, toast, cheese, tuna. Shoo! Go away. So before the flies come in, come on, go away. We got bread, hickory smoked tuna, nice thick slice of Colby Jack cheese, and avocado on top. Want to show you guys before the flies or the wind take it away. And a beautiful view. There you go. This one's for you, mountains. Thanks for taking away my camera.
Okay, so between the saddle crest and my lunch break, I kind of got into some trouble with the wind. Suffice it to say, this put a bit of a bummer on my trip, and more or less left me in a sour mood.
So some new developments. Camera broke. tripod like that. So that puts a bummer on a lot of this. So that's it. Made it up, not quite to the top, but close enough. Ate my lunch. Now I'm just getting back to my car. I wish I could have had a little bit more of a climactic moment for you, but life happens. I have to find a new lens. You know, it's funny though. I was on a flight back to Los Angeles from Columbus a few weeks ago, and this woman was obviously incredibly upset about something. She kept on having these little mini fits, like screaming to herself, and even said, "I hate this effing city." I wanted to turn to her and say, "This city's got nothing. It's you that's the problem." And so in the same way that I'm a little upset right now, it's not this place's fault. It's my own fault. And I know as the first time I came here I had a great time. I hope the next time I come here I have a great time. It's all dependent on these lenses that you put on things. If it's a good lens, it's a good place. If it's a bad lens, it's not the best. So you always have to remember that you carry those lenses with you and that you don't pick the lenses up wherever you go. That's how I'm going to end this. Thank you so much for watching. Please come visit this park. It needs a lot more love. It's not that far away, and you'll have a much better time than I did, I promise. Okay, bye.
I also want to give a shout out to Luigi and Anthony Morini for sending us this picture of their trip to Sequoia National Park. If you like what you see, please consider subscribing and joining our Patreon community. It means a lot to us and it helps us create more videos like this one.